nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
He was a modest and deeply religious man who gave the last full measure of devotion to work and Nigeria.
Floodgates of encomiums as House of Representatives holds valedictory session for late former Speaker Ghali Na'aba.
The results are presented today in a document titled Parliamentary Development Program.
And House unveils Parliamentary Development Program documents. Many thanks for joining us on the program Huse Ticket. My name is Ghali Umar. High point of plenary last week was the special session organized to pay tribute to the late former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Ghali Umar Na'aba. Former speakers and members, the leadership of the 10th House and other members used the opportunity to testify to Na'aba's courage, boldness and exemplary leadership. Huse Ticket will bring you highlights of that session. We shall also bring you reports of other deliberations by the House and matters of urgent public importance, motions as well as bills in the last 1 week. Please stay tuned for all of this and more when the program commences fully after the break. Keep watching.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Thanks for staying tuned. The House on Thursday, 22nd February 2024, paid tribute to the late former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ghali Umar Na'aba, who died on the 27th of December 2023 at the age of 65. Leading the tribute, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin stated that the session was to testify to Na'aba's steadfast commitment to the time-honored principles of separation of powers as well as his exemplary leadership qualities. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas said what stood Na'aba out the most was his simplicity, austerity, contentment and rare honesty.
He was a modest and deeply religious man who gave the last full measure of devotion to work and Nigeria. He lived a simple life, but always with the end in mind. His life is therefore a worthy lesson for political office holders of today and generations of politicians to come.
Speaker recalled that in 1999, when Nigerians longed for stability in democracy, Na'aba assumed the position of the Speaker, guiding the House with wisdom, dedication and unwavering commitment.
His tenure laid the foundation of a robust, independent legislature, vital for the checks and balances that underpin a vibrant democratic system. His leadership was characterized by profound understanding that the strength of a democracy is measured not just by the freedom enjoyed by its citizens, but also by the strength of its institutions.
The Speaker further said, under Na'aba's stewardship, the House emerged as a forum for vigorous debate and a powerful instrument for change and development. He added that the late lawmaker championed laws and reforms that continue to impact the nation, fostering economic growth, social justice, and the welfare of all Nigerians. He stressed that Na'aba laid a solid foundation for the growth and development of the House and pursued institutional building with unparalleled vigor and passion. The Speaker announced that the House had resolved that the National Assembly Service Commission building under construction be named after Na'aba and that the resolution had been transmitted to the Senate for concurrence.
The hard work it took to achieve the vision.
Several former leaders and ex-members of the House who spoke at the session, especially those who served with Na'aba between 1999 and 2003, recalled several memories of the foremost parliamentarian.
He led the House without a compass roadmap, because it was then that democracy was birthed. In 1999, the current dispensation. Our House was full of members who had dreams for the country, who were very young, very vibrant. Most had no godfathers. They came by themselves. That was why you saw the independence of that House. And that was why we survived all the attempts, because members who stood behind us were extremely principled, and they kept faith in leadership.
Ghali Umar Na'aba came from a radical political background of Kano. It helped him a lot. It gave him courage to face the challenges of that time. There is no doubt. The history of legislature, and to the extent House of Representatives, cannot be written without a special place for Ghali Umar Na'aba. He paid his dues, he served his country, and even continued serving even after leaving office.
I did not meet Ghali Na'aba while he was Speaker. I was not in this House at the time. However, because his reputation preceded him, and because I followed him and followed his career, I made it a point of duty, notedly, when I became Speaker, to consult with him on a regular, and he gave me words of advice that you couldn't buy in the marketplace. I treasure those words, I treasure those advices, and I believe those advices when I was Speaker was what saw me through my period as Speaker, and I thank him eternally for this.
Mr. Speaker, I had, at one time of my life, been extremely very close to him, not by going to him, but he reached out first at all times. He spoke to me first before I ever pick a phone to call him. The last time I saw him, I looked at his face. I said, this is a man full of faith. You see the mark on his forehead. Prophet Abraham alayhi salam had taught us how to pray. As a matter of fact, even Jesus Christ, in Matthew 26:39, he said, I took a few steps and fell with my face on the ground and asked that this cup pass over me, not as I will, but as you will. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to seal it, to also preach and to teach us, as Abraham and Jesus did, on how to pray by putting our forehead on the ground in total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, knowing fully well we will depart one day or another, and certainly it is coming. Ghali Na'aba had departed.
1999, I just left university.
Principal officers, as well as some members of the 10th House, also spoke during the session.
There is an awakening call that resonates and sounds from the death of this great man. He fought for a legacy. And I'm happy 25 years later, while he was alive, some of us who believe in what we saw in him
got the opportunity to be in the House of Representatives. If there were men that we admired, if there were men that inspired us, the man we celebrate today happened to be one of them.
Most of us here may not appreciate the challenge of re-federalization. When the federal system has been defederalized and you are trying to refederalize, it is a lot of work. Building the structures and institutions of democracy, accountability, social justice, and positive leadership, you don't find it on the streets. That was the time Ghali Umar was speaker.
I had the benefit of speaking with him. And one of the things he told me was that the time has come for this country to make a change in the interest of the downtrodden, that our system was no longer working. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, Ghali Na'aba told me that we should look at rejigging this system. And that prompted me into studying deeper into what will work for us, whether rightly or wrongly. Today, we have presented 3 bills to move us from presidential to parliamentary system. We owe that insight to him.
And because it was a special session, the son of the late former speaker was also given an opportunity to speak on the various tributes as well as on the person of his father.
Our father meant everything to us, and he left us with 3 main principles. The first is to make sure we do everything wholeheartedly. And secondly, he said, whatever you do, you have to try and take people along. And the third thing he said to me was, make sure you respect those who God has risen above you, and yours will come as well.
You never see difference on who is from which party.
Some others spoke glowingly of the leadership of the speaker in steering the House to great achievements.
He was a man of integrity. He was a good leader, a leader who contributed immensely to the development of legislation in this country. I think we will miss his wise counsel and guidance.
He stood his ground for the inclusions of parliamentary activities that will enhance democratic norms. When he was the Speaker of the 4th Assembly, we never see difference on who is from which party or from which state or from which religion. What was focal and foremost before him then was how do we make Nigeria better and greater than how we came to find it. And Ghali Na'aba has put a lot of structures on ground that today the structure is outliving him since he is no more with us now.
Thanks for being there. House Ticket continues with a recap of legislative business in the week under review as we report matters of urgent public importance as well as bills amongst others. Keep watching.
On Tuesday, 20th February 2024, plenary was presided by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kalu.
Speaker, I rise this morning.
On the same day, Representative Ginger Onwusibe moved a motion on the urgent need to investigate the unprovoked killing of a Nigerian by officers of the Nigerian Army in Abia State.
On the 15th day of February 2024, Mr. Nkemjika Nwogu, of 33 years of age, of Ntiokuala, an entire autonomous community, Isiarambano local government of Abia State, who is married with 3 children, was shot, killed in the cold hands of, in cold blood by personnel of Nigerian Army, manning a checkpoint at Umumpeyi, Mbasa, over allegation of refusal to be extorted by the naval personnel whom he had allegedly paid earlier in that day.
His prayer was a call on the House Committee on Human Rights as well as that on Justice to investigate the issue and report back to the House.
Those in support of this motion say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the House Committee on Human Rights as well as that on Justice.
Ayes have it.
I rise this morning to move a motion of urgent public importance.
Still on matters of urgent public importance, Representative Mohammed Jallo moved a motion on the urgent need to halt the rampant bandits' attacks on some communities in Kaduna State.
Over the past weekends, there were multiple violent attacks by bandits on several communities in Wusono, Kanzaure, Angon Tofa, Angon Malame Wusono, Gimi, Angon Makama, Gwada, Dinki, Kerawa, Angon Tofa Tami, Kerawa, Zango Aya, Turunku, Angon Malamai. In Igabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, which resulted in destruction of properties, kidnapping of about 30 persons, and death of at least 12 people who were shot by the bandits. Also concerned that the bandits also stole the people's livestock, including cattle and goats, while many other animals were killed on the raid.
The lawmaker called on all relevant security apparatus to provide additional security personnel to ensure peace in the region, and that the relevant humanitarian government agencies should provide succor to the victims, and that the relevant committees of the House should comply.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the relevant committees of the House.
Shall we rise for a minute silence? May their soul rest in peace.
I rise this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, to move a motion.
For motions on the order paper, Representative Clement Jimbo moved a motion on the plight of retirees under the contributory pension scheme.
Concerned that the retirees complained that the contributory pension scheme denies them of having a greater share of the lump sum after retirement. 25% of the total amount credited to their retirement savings account is usually dispensed across board under the scheme, while the balance of 75% is retained by the pension fund administrators for investment in the capital market with high returns, which is never added to the retirees' monthly payment.
The resolutions were to urge the National Pension Commission to investigate the complaints of former employees who have been negatively impacted by the administration of pension funds, also urge the Commission to ensure strict enforcement of the law and design a framework to guide against infractions of the Pension Act 2014 in furtherance of the anti-corruption stance of the present government, and mandate the Committee on Pensions to invite the National Pension Commission and chief executives of the PFAs to brief it on the activities of the pension fund administrators as it concerns the investment of the retirement savings accounts, benefits accruing to employees upon retirement, and the investment portfolios of the retirement savings funds, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Those in support of this motion say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the House Committee on Pensions.
The ayes have it.
Moving on to bills, the House during the week under review debated a bill at second reading titled A Bill for an Act to Alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to provide for establishment of state police and for related matters. The bill stood in the name of the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu, alongside 14 others.
Of their region.
Representative Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya led the debate for the second reading of the bill.
State policing will foster a closer relationship between the police and communities they serve. It enhances community policing strategies, leading to more effective crime and resolutions. As it is, honorable colleagues, across the country, we have the likes of Amotekun, we have Neighborhood Watch, we have Ebubeagu in the southeast. What we're trying to do and what this bill seeks to do is to streamline those activities in such a way that those organizations do not fall on the other side of the law.
Sir, it's not the responsibility of the Nigerian army to provide internal security. We know it and it's there enshrined in our constitution. They are just coming in because our internal security mechanism has failed. So if we have community policing, together with the effort of the Nigerian police, They are going to rid out our society from all forms of criminalities and other forms of crimes.
As we speak today, Nigeria is on fire everywhere. There is lack of security, there is lack of posterity, there is lack of this, lack of this. And the only way to remedy this situation, one of the ways is to create more employment opportunities. Another way is to increase the size of the security agencies. And I believe by creating a police force, each state will be in a better position, because what is happening in Zamfara and the kind of situation they are facing may be different from what is happening in Abia, may be different from what is happening in Kano. And the way to control it also will be different. So I believe we are in need of, their need, let me say, of state police.
Support of this motion, say aye.
The bill was voted on, approved and referred to the Special Committee on the Review of the Constitution.
The program is still House Ticket, bringing you reports from the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, on Monday, 19 February 2024, unveiled a policy document on training, retraining and capacity building of members of the 10th House, legislative aides and support staff for better performance and output. The document, titled Parliamentary Development Program for the 10th House of Representatives, National Assembly 2023 to 2027, was prepared by the Office of the Speaker in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. The reports.
Thank you very much.
Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, represented by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Okezie-Kalu in his address, noted that the document contained the results of the assessment study conducted by the House with the support of the UNDP and other partners.
The results are presented today in a document titled Parliamentary Development Program. This is in line with our legislative agenda, which identifies the strengthening of internal capacity of the legislature as a critical factor towards achieving all our other legislative objectives. As a result, the document before us today reflects our current capabilities and the urgent requirements needed to elevate the standard of our legislative functions.
He said that the need for continuous capacity strengthening in the legislature was well known to all, stating that the high turnover rates at the National Assembly posed a significant challenge to maintaining continuity and building on the institutional knowledge crucial for effective governance. Also present at the unveiling were principal officers, members of the House, as well as several local and international development and technical partners of the National Assembly. Some of them gave goodwill messages.
To emphasize that UNDP, as the global lead development agency with a mandate of governance and support to parliamentary institutions, will continue to support the legislative agenda and the government of Nigeria to fulfill their obligations to the citizens.
Today, we are here to witness what I call an interparliamentary wedding between the House of Reps and the development partners through the PC. An effort kick-started since the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly by the Right Honorable Speaker with the collaboration of the leadership. This is a structured initiative aimed at enhancing the capacity and effectiveness of parliamentary institutions in the country.
As we sign off here, we encourage you to follow our programs on our social media handles on display. And don't forget to send in your comments, questions and observations. On our part, we will do our best to get our representatives address them accordingly. Remember to stay safe always. Bye for now.